And I would say it's an interesting show. I have a young woman who is going to be sharing with you as well as myself. She is going to be sharing with us her newest book entitled Open Your Mind Before You Open Your Legs. Now, it's not what you think it is, okay? It is just a touchy, well, it's a very interesting title, but it doesn't really mean the way it reads, because inside this book is some very good information. And let me tell you, her name is Brittney Pressley. This is her second book. Open your mind before you open your legs, okay? You really want to get to know the guy that you are entering into a relationship with, and you also want to know who you really are. Now, all too often, we enter into a relationship not really knowing what is it that I want in this relationship. What am I looking for in another person to be my partner? A lot of us don't know what that is. And so that's why we end up settling for anything, Attila the Hun and all of that kind of stuff, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of character, because we really don't know what we want. And again, beloved, when you don't know what you want, you end up with something that you really don't want. Okay, now many of us know exactly what we don't want, but we may not know exactly what we do want. How about that? Now there is a song of yesteryear that says something, now I'm not going to try to sing it, but it says something that a piece of man is better than no man at all. Really now? Really? Okay. Well, Lady C.S. Walker does not want a piece of a man. I am comfortable with being by myself. Okay. Now, if the Lord would have me to have a mate, that's all fine and dandy here. Okay. But he has to have certain qualifications. He has to have certain things that well, here's the thing. I know what I want in a mate. Okay. I am not lacking in that arena. But there was a time when I didn't know what I wanted in a mate. And a few times, I settled. Oh, yes, I did. But I came away. I guess that's after being by myself for a while, I was able to sit back and analyze, now, this person didn't have this person didn't have that. And so I sat down and I listened. And let me put it this way. I educated myself on me, on what I was certainly looking for in a mate in the future tense, that is. But anywho, so much about me. But I got to tell you, Brittney has done a very good job with this book. Now, I will be interviewing her, but I will certainly be interviewing her in an indirect way. You will not see me sitting across from her and we are talking. No, she will be before the camera like I am right now. I am before you solo. She is going to be before you solo answering some questions, okay? And I think they are pretty interesting. And I think I may every now and then do shows like this. I did a show like this last week, okay? This is my second time. At the airing of this particular show, this is my second time doing an interview from this standpoint, from an indirect way. And I think I somewhat like it. I really do. So, I'm going to put it this way. If I'm not able to do it, me sitting across from my guest sitting across from me and engaging in a conversation from that standpoint, I can do it this way. How about that? But I really like giving people an opportunity to come forth and share with us their material, their products, or whatever it may be. And I think I have said many times before, I really enjoy reading. I love reading. I love learning. Oh yes, I embrace both. But anywho, you don't really have to take my word that this is a good book. You can read it for yourself. It is a very good book. And I got to tell you as well, it's an easy read. I love easy reading books. I love books that you can get through with it just like this. Now, there may be times when you may not be able to get through with a simple book just like the flash of lightning. But one good thing about this book is the chapters are small and they are not really contingent upon the next chapter. So you can get through with this particular chapter because they are like 2, 1.5, 3 or 4 pages, it just depends, and you can read 1 or 2 chapters a day or whatever. You can read more than that, okay? You just don't want to stress yourself out and think that you got to read the whole book in one day. Now, some people will be able to do that. It just depends. When I read books, beloved, I like to take notes, and I think that's what really take a lot of my time, because I'm writing in my books, because I don't intend to get rid of the books. So I write in my books, I take notes and stuff. So I think that is why it takes me longer to read, where it may take you a day. But I have other things that I am engaged in, so that sort of stands in my way. Now, sometimes it just depends, but nevertheless, I love reading, and this is a good book. And one of the chapters she talks about is stop assuming. And she make mention of we shouldn't expect, and then me paraphrasing it, okay? We shouldn't expect our partner to be able to read our minds. And you know, sometimes we do. We expect for that person to know exactly what I am thinking without telling that person what I am thinking. Now, you can be together with your partner for 10, 20, 30 years, and your partner may be able to figure out what you are thinking, but that person is not going to be able to do that all the time. You know, sometimes when your partner may ask you, what's wrong? And you say, nothing, okay? He or she may look at it as, okay, nothing is going on. And then you get upset because they couldn't figure out that something really was wrong with you or going on in your mind, but you said nothing. Come on, boo. You cannot be doing that. You cannot be doing it. You saying one thing, so that's conflicting. And then you expect for him or her to know exactly what you are thinking. Can you read minds? Are you telepathic? Now, there may be some telepathic people, but I don't think, well, I am not. But again, I may be able to tell sometimes, but not all the time, what a person may be encountering or may be going through. So stop assuming that your partner, whether it's your husband, your boyfriend, your fiance, or whatever, knows what's going on in your head. Stop thinking that they know how to read your mind. Now, I know there are people out there that will pay, who will foretell your future and all of that kind of stuff, but I don't think they are mind readers, I don't think. Whatever. But I think, well, ain't no think, but I know this is a good book. But in the meantime, beloved, gotta take a break. I am going to come back, and I am going to introduce you to Brittney Pressley. We'll be right back. Welcome back, beloved. Okay, now I, Lady Walker, is going to introduce you to the author of this book, Open Your Mind Before You Open Your Legs, by Brittney Pressley. I hope you enjoy her interview indirectly. In the meantime, here she is, Brittney Pressley.
I am Brittney Pressley. I was born and raised in Hamden, Connecticut. I am the oldest of 3 siblings. I went to college at Sacred Heart University, and I majored in communication technology, and I minored in psychology. After I graduated from college, I started working at Yale University in human resources, and after about a year there, I decided that I wanted to go to graduate school. So I enrolled in a program at Quinnipiac University. I majored in organizational leadership, which really deals with the people side of the organization. It's not very technical. It helps you work on being a leader, how to manage people, how to manage projects, how to manage processes, and it's really strategy based. So for example, what I do is team up with a group of people. I'd go into an organization or some type of a small business. We'd help them strategize on how to help better streamline processes, how to deal with training people when they have big implementations, and so forth. So after I went to graduate school, I was still at Yale University, and after about, say 3 months after the program ended, I was looking for a job as a consultant, a strategy consultant working in a big organization, preferably corporate. So I ended up getting a job at IBM, which is where I am currently, working as a strategy consultant outside of DC. And in that process, I started writing my first book, and now I'm the author of 2 books. I've been writing for about 2 or 3 years, although my favorite subject was always English, but I never really used writing in my free time to express myself. So my first book is called Loving Inward, Living Outward, Looking Forward, and my second book is called Open Your Mind Before You Open Your Legs. So the inspiration behind the first book came when I was working at Yale University. I had a mentor who told me that he could help me get to wherever I wanted to go, except for I had to drive the bus. And I thought that he was going to drive the bus. But he told me that I was at a point in my life, in my career, where I couldn't blame my parents for my life being the way it turned out. And I can't blame my boss or my boss's boss for the way that my career is turning out. And he told me that if I wanted an opportunity, I shouldn't wait for one. I should actually build a door. So that kind of gave me a little inspiration to start looking at myself as being accountable, as my own person, separate from my parents, separate from my coworkers and bosses. So I kind of came up with the title, Loving Inward is about looking in, loving yourself, forgiving yourself, accepting yourself. Loving outward is all about doing the same thing for other people. It's like we're a mirror looking outward, and we reflect who we are into the world, and the world reflects who we are back to us. And looking forward is about having a positive attitude, understanding that life has many ups and downs, but our attitude will dictate how great of experiences we'll have. And the inspiration for the second book came after I read Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man by Steve Harvey. And last summer, actually, I read Manology by Tyrese and Rev Run. And I felt like women, myself included, were so busy looking for secrets on how to keep a man or secrets on the games that men play that we kind of lost our way in figuring out what we want out of a relationship, what love means to us, and who we are just as women, as spiritual beings, as humans. So Open Your Mind Before You Open Your Legs is kind of an ambiguous title. So open your mind is not just about thinking, but it's about being consciously aware of who you are, where you're going, and what you want out of life and a relationship. And before you open your legs, it's not just about sex, but it's about intimacy and vulnerability as well. One of the main challenges that I faced while writing the first book was my own insecurity of being a young author, because it's based on my life experiences, although I don't share any personal stories. And when I was telling family members and friends about me writing the book, a few of them laughed in my face because they thought that I wasn't old enough to have any life experiences worth sharing in a book. So that made me feel like nobody would ever listen to me, or I felt like I was wasting my time. And I had one friend who actually kept encouraging me throughout the writing process to just write, and that we can all learn from anyone. And that if someone was not open to learning from me, that said more about them than it did about myself. And one of the challenges on writing the second book was actually that I had to look at myself and look at my relationship with my dad, my relationship with my mom, their relationship, things that I've seen growing up, and kind of figuring out what my definition of love is, what I thought was acceptable versus how I treated men in my past relationships. And it really forced me to just gain a new perspective on dating and really stop pointing the finger at men and blaming them for everything going wrong, and really taking a look in the mirror and seeing how I was impacting negative things happening, and how I contributed to some of the misery that I was experiencing while dating. This is my second book, Open Your Mind Before You Open Your Legs, and I want to share with you the quote that I have on the back of the book. So I like to read the quote on the back of my book, which says, "We have to do a better job at being vulnerable with our clothes on, pillow talking without the pillows, allowing ourselves to be naked before we undress, requiring that our mind be given the first orgasm." So the book has about 168 pages. It's a very quick read. It's very easy. Each chapter has about 3 to 5 pages, and there's about 39 chapters. I know that sounds like a lot, but you can read 1 chapter a day or 2 or 3 chapters a day if you have other things to do and you want to just pick this book up. So I'll share with you the title of a few chapters and a little bit about the chapter. So the first one I'll share with you is Stop Nagging. So women are known to nag their partners a lot. We get frustrated, we get irritated, we want what we want when we want it. So we nag, we text all the time, we Facebook, Instagram until they respond back to us. So I'm encouraging women, including myself, to just really learn how to communicate what it is that we want from the man that we're dating or in a relationship with. Nagging will not get us anywhere. He'll be so focused on nagging that he won't pay attention to what we're actually nagging about. So we have to stop nagging, ladies. The second chapter I'll share with you is It Is Time to Call a Locksmith. This chapter is about the women who are stuck with the same man who isn't treating them right, but it's just really easy and comfortable to be with him. You've been with him for years, or you just feel really comfortable. He gives you money, or he gives you quality time every once in a while. I am encouraging you to call a locksmith, to close that door, change the locks. You never know if the locksmith is going to bring you a much more reliable, sturdy, and attractive lock next time. So the third and last chapter that I'll share with you is called camaraderie. And I think that it is so important for us to become best friends with the men that we are dating and ultimately will be in serious relationships with down the road. I think that sometimes we get so caught up in men and the fun that we're having, we just start dating, we're going here, we're going to dinner, we're going to the movies, and we never really get a chance to know each other. And so a year or two down the road, we find ourselves fighting and arguing because we didn't know who we were dealing with. So I'm just encouraging women to become best friends with the men you are dating, just like you're friends with your best girlfriends. So you go places, you have fun, you laugh, it's light, you don't take it too seriously. You can do the same thing with the men that you are dating.
Open Your Mind Before You Open Your Legs by Brittney Pressley. For book acquisition and more, log on to www.gumroad.com or email brittney.presley@gmail.com. Or to connect with Brittney, go to Twitter and type in Miss Britt, the number 2, you, or Instagram and type in Miss Britt, the number 2, you, or Facebook and type in Brittney M. Presley. Welcome back, beloved. Okay, are you having a great time finding out who Brittney Pressley is, the author of Open Your Mind Before You Open Your Legs? It's a good book, as I said. Don't take my word for it. Read it for yourself, and somewhere within the break or at the bottom of the screen, you will find out where you can obtain a copy of this lovely book. And going back to Stop Assuming, she talks about trust. Now, you know, if you can't trust anybody, that relationship is going to be on rocky, shaky ground. If you can't trust your partner, if your partner cannot trust you, it's going to be on shaky ground. And you're really somewhat, according to Brittney, you're wasting your time as well as the person's time if you cannot trust that person, okay? You can't trust him when he's with you and when he's not with you. My goodness, that is terrible. All right, beloved. Hey, here's Brittney Pressley.
I plan on writing a ton more books. Hopefully, I can get up to as many books as Maya Angelou, but I plan on becoming a full-time author, speaker, counselor of some sort, and actually leaving corporate America to pursue my dreams of becoming an author full-time. My advice to all aspiring authors would be to share your thoughts, not be afraid of letting your thoughts hit the paper. You don't know who you're going to inspire, who your story is going to help, who your story may heal. Don't get too caught up in thinking about it and spending too much time in coming up with a title or coming up with the chapter names. Just write, write, write. And I'll share a piece of advice that my college professor shared with me was write until you think, don't think until you write. Even though the tone of my books are always going to be direct, my intentions are always to help. I never want to come across as if I know everything, but rather that I'm sharing what I know. I kind of feel that self-help books are typically written by 50 or 60-year-old people who are now sharing all of their knowledge and wisdom that they've learned throughout their lives. I want to do the opposite and share things that I'm going through now that's relevant to the world that we live in, to society, to my generation, and to also other generations as I kind of go along. I believe that writing is my passion. I believe that that is what I am here on earth to do, to inspire and keep gaining inspiration from talking to people, from connecting, and I plan on doing it for the rest of the time I am alive. Although I'm a writer, I'm actually inspired by music just as I am inspired by books. The reason being is because when we listen to music, we can feel the music, we can connect to the words, and when people read my books, I want them to feel the same way they do listening to music. I want them to connect to the words, I want them to feel what I'm saying, the energy that I'm writing in, the urgency, the inspiration that I'm writing in, and I hope that they can get that from reading the books. I actually write poetry as well, and that is directly inspired by music. In my mind, I am actually the female version of Jay-Z. So I write poetry about various topics, usually things that are on my mind, relationships, love, things that I don't understand, like politics, maybe religion. And those blog posts can be found on minddoesmatter.blogspot.com. So I've been inspired by many books along the way, one of which is The Book of Secrets by Deepak Chopra, which helped me to really look at my life and look at the universe as me being a part of it. I became more consciously aware of the world around me as well as who I am from that book. So that's one of my favorite books. Another book that inspired me is The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. And that kind of helped me to realize that all of our energies are connected with one another. It helped me to realize that we're all connected and that I should really be more mindful of my attitude and the energy that I am portraying outwardly, my aura, when I'm talking to other people, because my energy impacts other people. And one of the last books that really inspired me during my transition of becoming an author is Now Discover Your Strengths by Marcus Buckingham, which helped me to realize that we're all have strengths as well as weaknesses. But if we focus on our strengths, then we'll have a better chance at becoming successful than as if we do focusing on our weaknesses. And it actually helped me at the time to have a better relationship with my boss, because I felt that because she was a supervisor, that she was naturally going to be good at it. I realized that not everyone is in a job that aligns to their strengths. So it required me to be more patient and more understanding that just because I think someone may be incompetent, they may just be in a position where they're not aligned to their strengths. In my book, Open Your Mind Before You Open Your Legs, the main message that I like to convey to anyone reading this book is that you are accountable for all the relationships that you are in, the quality of them, the duration, the type of love that you're receiving or not receiving, the type of attention that you're receiving or not receiving. It's easy to point the finger at the man and tell him all of things that he's not doing correctly, but you have to figure out what your self-worth is so that you can align that with the type of relationships that you're allowing in your life.
Welcome back, beloved. This has been a great show. You got a chance to meet Brittney Pressley, and I am going to share with you just a few more interesting information that I gleaned from this book, or should I say takeaways, okay? I took away quite a few things from the book, and the whole book is, to me, it's a good read, and I did take away quite a few things, and I am just going to share with you just a few more tidbits that I gleaned from the book. And you know what? One thing about learning, it's an everyday thing. You can learn something new every day. Never think that, and I may have said this before on the last show, I really don't know. Well, if I did, tough. It is okay to hear me say it again. But it's okay to learn no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are. It's okay to learn. You should never get in the mindset to think that, hey, I already know this. I don't need to hear this again. See, there you go right now. You're becoming stagnated and you are shutting down, or should I say you are closing the door to learning. You can learn from other people's experience. You really don't have to learn personally some things all the time, because I know I learn from, there are some things I see other people do that may be detrimental to their health or to their life, and I can learn from those people. I don't have to learn this stuff personally, because there are some things I don't want to learn personally. I can look at you and see what's going on in your life, and even with you sharing what's going on in your life, from a negative standpoint, and I can learn that from you, as well as something from a positive standpoint. You can share with me on various things from a positive aspect, and I can learn that from you, and I can decide if I want to receive it and implement it, okay? If I get it into my knowledge bank and decide to implement what you have told me. So it's okay to learn from other people. Don't think that you have to experience, and I know I am regurgitating what I just said, but don't think that you have to learn things personally all the time, because learning is a valuable tool. But one thing I like that she talks about is to stop chasing. Stop chasing him, beloved. Stop chasing him. Now, he may want to chase you, but there are some people, I don't want to chase me, okay? You will know I don't want you to chase me. But sometimes when a young woman may be interested, or when an older woman as well may be interested in a guy, and he doesn't seem to be interested in her, she may feel devalued because he doesn't show any interest in her. Now, if he's not into you, that's all fine and dandy. There got to be somebody out there in the world who is into you. It may not be this person that you are interested in at the moment, but it's okay. It's okay if that person isn't interested in you. Maybe you two are not meant to be yoked up together. But anywho, don't let it devalue your worth as a woman, as a person, just because the person that you are interested in doesn't show any interest in you. And another thing, I like what she said, if a guy is really interested in if he's interested in hooking up or having a relationship with you, he will find a way. He will find the time and he will find a way to be with you if he's interested in you. And for instance, you chasing a guy, well, let me put it this way. Let's say, for instance, because we make excuses for guys, and I'm pretty sure sometimes they make excuses for us as well. But in this day and age, beloved, now I do realize that not everybody has a cell phone. Not everybody has a cell phone, but I would certainly say about 80% of us have a cell phone. But I got to tell you, my cell phone is not attached to my hips, okay? It is not attached to my hips. So I may not answer my cell phone all the time when you call, so just leave a message. Didn't I tell y'all to leave me a message? If you call me and you don't leave a message, 99% of the time, I will not be calling you back because you did not leave me a message. Okay? But if you leave me a message, at some point in time, I will get back with you. I don't know when, but at some point in time. But in this day and age, as I said, about 80% of people may have cell phones. And then there are some who do not, because I spoke with one of my cousins not too long ago, and she said she didn't have a cell phone. Okay. But she has a house phone. She has a house phone. But anywho, most guys who are trying to hook up in a relationship, most guys are going to have a cell phone, okay? And even if you have to buy the prepaid minutes or whatever, and for a guy to say, well, you know what, I was out of town, cell phone, I wasn't able to call you. I remember some years ago, this guy via the internet, I don't know how he got my information, but anyway, we started corresponding through the internet. Whew. But I won't do that crap again. Not like we met, personally, but the person was supposed to call me on certain days, and it took like a week for this person to call me. It was all crap, but see, that's why I wouldn't get myself involved with crap like that again. Boy, did I have to grow. Wow. Anywho, okay, it's like you are here, and you can't pick up a phone and call me. A week would go by before you were able to get in touch with me. Man, I tell you what, I think I had entertained desperation at that moment. At that moment. Not again. And I'm like, okay, cell phone. You mean to tell me you can't take a minute or 5 minutes from your day and call me up just to say, I just called to say hello? Reminds me of Stevie Wonder. I just called to say I love you, but not that. That song just paraded across my mind. But anywho, she said stop chasing in her book, and I will certainly concur to stop chasing someone who shows no interest in you. Quit calling this person every time you turn around, because evidently, if they really want to talk to you, if they really want to spend some time with you, they will make the time. In the meantime, beloved, thanks to Tria for tuning in. It has been real. You know it has been. It has been one of those real moments. And again, if you are interested in Brittney's newest book entitled Open Your Mind Before You Open Your Legs, hook her up. The information is somewhere within the break. Thanks for tuning in. And beloved, I will see you next time on The Lady Walker Show. Ta-ta.